headlines start with U.S. efforts to address hunger in Gaza. The White House announced that President Trump is sending 2 officials there tomorrow to inspect food distribution. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is already in the region. He met with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel today to discuss the humanitarian crisis. White House officials say Witkoff will be joined by U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee for tomorrow's visit.
Special Envoy Witkoff and Ambassador Huckabee will be traveling into Gaza to inspect the current distribution sites and secure a plan to deliver more food and meet with local Gazans to hear firsthand about this dire situation on the ground.
Gaza health officials say that in the past day, at least 91 people were killed and more than 600 others were wounded while trying to get aid. That includes 54 people waiting for food in northern Gaza. Israel says it fired warning shots into a crowd that swarmed an aid truck but is not aware of any injuries. Officials in Ukraine say Russian drone and missile attacks overnight killed at least 13 people and wounded more than 130 others in Kyiv. The air assault hit dozens of locations across the capital, damaging more than 100 buildings. More casualties are expected as rescue teams search the rubble for survivors. Also, in Kyiv today, Ukrainians celebrated after Parliament approved a bill to restore the independence of 2 main anti-corruption agencies. President Volodymyr Zelensky tried to bring the watchdogs under his government's oversight, but the move led to rare and widespread protests. Zelensky quickly reversed course and today signed the new bill into law.
It is very important that the state listens to public opinion. It hears its citizens. Ukraine is a democracy, absolutely, no doubt.
Meantime, U.S. diplomat John Kelly told the UN Security Council today that President Trump wants a deal to end the war by August 8th. Earlier this week, Mr. Trump said he was moving up his timeline to reach a ceasefire and has threatened to impose tariffs and other measures on Russia if a deal is not reached. Delta Airlines says it's working with federal safety officials on investigating an incident of significant turbulence that sent dozens of people to the hospital. The flight from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam last night hit rough air some 40 minutes after departure, then diverted to Minneapolis. Flight data shows the plane descended more than 1,000 feet in just 30 seconds. First responders took 25 people to the hospital, though most have since been released. Serious injuries from turbulence are rare, but scientists say they could happen more often as climate change alters the jet stream. Thousands of mourners honored police officer Didarul Islam today, one of 4 New Yorkers killed in a mass shooting earlier this week inside a Manhattan office building. Islam's fellow officers lined up in rows as his coffin was carried through the Bronx, the borough where he lived and worked. A funeral service was held inside a local mosque. Islam had picked up an off-duty security shift when he was fatally shot. Another victim, Julia Hyman, was buried following an emotional service yesterday at a Manhattan synagogue. Funeral arrangements for the other 2 victims have not been made public, and an investigation into the shooting is ongoing. President Trump announced this afternoon that he's reviving the presidential fitness test at U.S. public schools. Prominent athletes and officials joined the president as he signed an executive order to restore the President's Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition and the test itself. The program was created in 1966, and it required school kids to run certain distances, do push-ups and pull-ups, and other physical challenges. It was a rite of passage for more than 4 decades until President Obama replaced it back in 2012 with a program that focused more on overall health. On Wall Street today, stocks gave up early gains amid worries over President Trump's tariff deadline. The Dow Jones Industrial Average ended more than 300 points lower. The Nasdaq slipped just 7 points, so nearly flat. The S&P 500 also ended in negative territory. Still to come on the NewsHour, the chair of the FCC discusses the Trump administration's approach to regulating the media. An author of the intelligence community's report on Russian election interference pushes back against Trump administration accusations it was a politically motivated lie. And Texas Republicans seek to redraw congressional districts and expand their electoral advantage.
This is the PBS NewsHour from the David M. Rubenstein Studio at WETA in Washington and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.